Well, we're here at the Transplant Games of 2024, Birmingham, Alabama, and my name is JC Cjo, and we have here today, we have Pat and Jean, and we have a few questions just to get to know you a little bit more. Where are you from? The giveaways in your fantastic, little hats, but tell us where you're from.
We're from the wonderful state of New Jersey.
And what brought you to the games?
We're a combo. I'm a kidney donor, and my kidney's now resting here in Jean. And we had our 5-year kidney anniversary last month.
Perfect. And tell me, what was it like to receive that call for the organ offer?
Well, our story's a little unique because we have a living donor, and she was a nurse at the hospital that I was visiting to get my blood work done. And my nurse was friends with Pat because Pat was a nurse there for 41 years. And she shared my story with Pat, the need. That was something that Pat had wanted to do. She wanted to donate to one of her patients a long time ago and to a little boy's dad that she saw on the news. And I was lucky number 3. And she was a stranger who donated to me. We wanted to meet each other. We became friends. And 5 years later, we are here at the amazing Transplant Games of America together.
And we promote organ donation back home in New Jersey. We do Zoom calls for the kids at school so we can educate them about organ donation. We've been invited to multiple dialysis units to speak to the staff. We did one for one of our local hospitals, a symposium, because we're trying to tell people what it's about from a donor's viewpoint and the recipient's viewpoint. A lot of people don't understand a lot of factors. It's not that difficult to donate. You just have to put yourself out there and see what you can give.
Well, it's just wonderful that you both advocate, something that you believe in. Now, is this your first Transplant Games?
So this is Pat's first transplant game, and this is my second. I was at San Diego 2 years ago. And it was such an amazing, amazing experience. And I'm fortunate to have this woman here with me today.
I'll throw in you can donate at any age, though.
Yes. Pat was 67 when she donated to me. We just celebrated 5 years, so she's 72 now.
That's wonderful. What events are you competing?
So I'm competing in cornhole, and Pat is competing in bowling. And then we're both competing in darts, Texas Hold'em, and trivia.
Yeah.
Wow, wonderful. Yeah.
So many games, you just can't help but enjoy yourself. And the people you meet, the stories are amazing.
Yeah.
You just can't believe. I think I've gotten goosebumps 3 times already.
Yeah, you have to be here to experience it. If you are a recipient, a donor family, caregiver, supporter, you have to experience this at least once in your life. No matter how we explain it to you, it's nothing like the feeling that you have when you are here and you just meet all of the amazing people in this transplant community, and that's what it's all about.
Jean. We also have a lot of caretakers here. I noticed a lot of the badges.
I agree.
Taking care of loved ones that
Yes.
donated.
It's an amazing.
That's a new category for me that I noticed.
Yeah.
And a lot of donor families, which is beautiful for kids.
Very beautiful.
And we're just blessed to have all these people in one area at the same time. Yeah, I got goosebumps again.
Jean, since we were talking about sharing stories, are you comfortable sharing your story with everyone?
Oh, yes. And anywhere Pat and I go, we share our story because you would be amazed how many people are affected by organ donation, but no one speaks about it. Mm-hmm. And you can tell when, Pat says, hey, guess what? She has my kidney. And they look at you and they're like, oh, what do you mean she has her kidney? And then we go and we explain it. And they're like, oh, my Uncle Joe, he got a kidney transplant. He was on dialysis. And it's amazing how it opens up the conversation.
Agreed.
And my tagline is share your story. Someone is always listening.
Yeah, agreed.
And you know what? Thank goodness Pat was listening and my nurse was listening. I wouldn't be here today. I'd still be plugged into a machine on dialysis.
100% agree. What are some things that you feel that you can do now that were limiting for you before transplant?
being here at the Transplant Games
Yeah,
of America,
that's the
number
big
one.
reason, right?
I mean, dialysis, it did not stop me from traveling, so that was a good thing. I
That's
was able
great.
to do my treatments while I was away. But, since then, you know what, just giving back and educating others who are going through this, because I didn't have that. I didn't have the resources and the tools.
Agree, yeah.
And the education about it. I was relying on my dialysis center to help me, and they were wonderful.
Yeah.
But it's nothing like the patient experience.
Agree,
And I
yeah.
think that is so important to give back and educate others and just give them hope and motivation. You have to be proactive. If you're looking for a living donor, you have to be proactive, and it definitely will cut your wait list.
Yeah.
New Jersey, it's about 8, 9, 10 years is our waiting
Yeah.
list, and that's
Yeah.
a long time to be on kidney
There are a lot
dialysis.
of misconceptions that are out there. What are some that you guys faced or have heard out there that you want to,
The big one I say is age.
agree? Yeah,
As long as
very
you are
agree.
healthy, you can donate, and they send you through any type of testing that's imaginable.
Yeah.
And sometimes they catch through the testing that you can't donate because you have a problem they never would have found otherwise.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
that was a big one. How about you, Jean?
Yeah, there's so many myths and misconceptions out there, and I would say, again, just be proactive, get your family involved. It takes a village, it truly does, to find a
Yeah.
living donor.
Agree.
And, again, just to those folks out there who are still waiting for their miracle, don't give up.
Yeah, even if you can't donate yourself to the person that you're trying to donate
Yes,
for.
there's paired exchanges.
exchange.
Correct,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And just put yourself out there when you're ready. When you're ready to share your story, share your story. It took me 6 months before I could share my story with folks.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad that I had the courage and the bravery to do it, because this earth angel came into my life, and there are so many earth angels. Just take a look at all those living donors and in that room right there, and
Agree.
you'll understand what I'm talking about.
100% agree.
We have 14 living donors coming from Team Liberty.
Amazing.
Yeah, 14 living
Amazing.
donors from Team Liberty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty proud about that. So,
A lot of donor families that have come.
yeah, just spread the word. Spread the
Yeah.
word. There's so many misconceptions, especially for living donors, that, you can't live a healthy life afterwards, and, you can't have children, all these crazy things. Educate yourself. That's the thing. Don't go, listening to people on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. Talk to someone who's been there. Educate yourself the right way.
100% agree.
People out there if you seek them.
Yeah,
They're there.
they are. They are. Yeah, agree. Totally agree. And what would you want to share with just people in general that are looking to donate, but where can they go? For example, like that's a huge,
Yeah, I mean,
thing that
number
people
one,
don't
I
know
would
where to
say,
go.
you go on Facebook, and, there's so many different organizations out there, different Facebook groups, support groups for living donors. Talk to people who've been through it, okay? Go to your local transplant hospital. Educate yourself. That's so important. But it's nothing like, again, the patient experience, going to talking to the living donors and let them give you the real deal, what you need to do. And it's a lot on the living donor side. As much testing as I had to go to, Pat had to go through even more testing for the psychiatric part of it as well. And she was a trooper. It was over a year that we went through our testing, and she did it. And, we all had couple ups and downs and little tweaks here and there that we had to take care of.
Yeah.
But we did it, and we're here. Thank God we're here 5 years. Yeah.
I agree. And for patients and just donors and caregivers, if they're interested in coming to the Transplant Games, what would you recommend them to do in terms of figuring out what this is, how to get here?
Yeah.
Like, how did you guys find out about it?
They have local chapters. Like in New Jersey, they've got counties.
Uh-huh.
Jean's from Morris, I'm from Essex. They have meetings just about every month. Or go to the hospital that's nearest you that does transplants. go right up to the transplant department. They can talk to you. They'll just explain everything that needs to be done. Even if you aren't donating, learn about it. There are places to go
Yeah.
everywhere.
And I would say your local OPO or your organ procurement organization, reach out to them and explain to them you're a caregiver, you're a donor family, whatever the situation is. They will be happy to direct you into the right areas that can help you and support you. And, just like us, Team Liberty is part of the New Jersey Sharing Network, and we're very proud to be volunteers there. And organ donation has truly changed our lives for the better, So I would just say educate yourself and,
You'll meet wonderful people.
yeah,
Bond
it's
with
a
them
whole,
quickly.
yeah, and we're very, very grateful for everyone that we've
Yes.
met.
Great. You had mentioned previously about some challenges or some medical challenges at first after.
After the surgery, I have to say I was very blessed. As soon as I woke up from the surgery in the emergency room, it was liquid gold. I was very, very fortunate. I felt 1,000% better when I woke up that morning. I can't explain it because I was on dialysis 3.5 years, and even though dialysis filtered your blood, I was sick. And, transplant was the direction that I needed. And for me, one of the challenges was because on dialysis, you're on a liquid restriction. And when you get your kidney, it's the opposite. You have to keep hydrated. You have to keep drinking. That is still now 5 years later is still difficult for me to make sure that I stay hydrated. But yeah, there's some pain involved. But I'm a warrior. Anybody out there who is on dialysis or has chronic kidney disease, you guys are warriors, and you know what I'm talking about as far as pain and fatigue and all that. But transplant is not a cure. Transplant is definitely a treatment because you still have to take a regimen of medicines every single day, anti-rejection meds. You have to be careful of your immune system because you're immune compromised. So it's a lifelong treatment. And it's not a challenge because it's part of my everyday life, and it is what it is, and I accept it. And I'm just so grateful to be here, and that's a small price you pay for life, and we are enjoying life here together.
Well, thank you. I think we'll probably wrap it up with one more question because we could keep talking.
I know.
You're both
Sorry.
very lovely. Now, as a patient recipient and an organ donor, what would you like to see in the future of transplant?
That's an excellent question.
Yeah, that's a great question. I would just, for me anyway, from a patient side, I would just say more education about it, because even now there's more education, but support groups are really, really important. And again, it's speaking to people who've been through it. So I would say a lot more encouragement for patients to belong to support groups, because for instance, when you're on dialysis, there's a doctor who comes by, they have 15 minutes to talk to you. You're lucky if you have 5 minutes that you speak to them. And they're only going to tell you from the doctor's point of view. They're not going to tell you all the emotional things that you go through, because it's not just your physical body that's going through it. It's a very emotional process. And again, I keep stressing on the education and support. Those are really two huge things for me as a patient.
And talking about it. That's why we do it. Just talking about it. We wear our kidney shirts all the time, and people will talk to us because they see it, and it triggers something in them about their family members.
Yeah.
Yeah. People listen when you start talking.
Yeah. And we haven't stopped.
No?
As you guys know already, we haven't stopped, and we're not going to.
No.
Great. Well, thank you both, Pat and Jean, for sharing your story with everyone else
Thank
and with
you.
us.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.